Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to another College and Career Pathways session where every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. we provide you with information on various colleges and universities, financial aid resources, training, schools, technical programs, and skilled trade professions, along with career readiness skills, all designed to help you make the best career decisions possible. I'm Toni Cureton, your host, and today we are with Schoolcraft College. Kendra, welcome back. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm always excited to be here.
Good deal. You can go ahead and get started in your presentation.
All right. Hello everyone. Like Ms. Cureton said, my name is Kendra Porche, and I am one of the admissions representatives at Schoolcraft College. So I work in our admissions welcome center with prospective students. So I speak to high school students. I also work with other prospective students from various backgrounds, ages, if they're interested in learning a little bit more about what Schoolcraft has to offer as a post-secondary option. And I work with them through the enrollment process. So understanding their next steps and what steps they need to take to actually enroll in their classes and start here with us as a student. So before I jump into Schoolcraft specifics, I always like to start with some ideal fit and food for thought for students. So I always like to start with ideal fit, this web of ideal fit, and just explore the different areas that students should be considering when they're considering what post-secondary institution they would like to attend. It's not just one thing you should consider. All of these should be considered when you're making a decision on what your next step is within your post-secondary planning process, and where you're just essentially deciding to attend after you graduate from high school. So these are all be in the back of your mind as you make your decision. It should be considered everything that encompasses your ideal fit for what institution you ultimately decide to attend. So first and foremost, and one of the really important ones is admissions requirements. So if an institution has specific admissions requirements, whether that be a specific GPA or a test score that you have to achieve during your high school career, what is that requirement for that institution you are considering? So you want to make sure that you're aware of that. You need to know if they have an essay component in their application. Are there application fees for their application? Luckily, Schoolcraft is in the place where we don't have any application fees and no essay component to our application, but for some institutions, that is something to consider because there is a requirement. It's something that you have to take into consideration when you are applying and think about and prepare for as you start to build your list of colleges that you're considering applying to. Academic programs is another one. So you want to be sure that whatever institutions you're looking at, they have the academic program that you're particularly interested in. So if you are sold on nursing, you want to have a career in nursing, you want to make sure that that institution has a nursing program because not all colleges will offer the same academic programs. So if it's a college that does not offer nursing, maybe you want to take that off your list. And then I also encourage students to even have a second option for programs because it's much easier for you to change your major when you're in college, and which is actually really common. Students change their majors on an average of like 3 to 4 times when they get to college. So it's okay if you're not sure of what you actually want to graduate, what degree you want to actually graduate with, but even have a second option as you're going in and you're considering what college you want to attend. Because like I said, it's easier to change your major than it is to switch to a different college. So be sure that they have what you're looking for academically, because that's essentially why you're going to the school. So you want to make sure they have what you're looking for. Cost is huge. College is not free. So you want to make sure that you're able to afford the school you're attending. The goal of you attending college is to get a good education and then essentially go on to graduate and obtain a good job after you graduate. So you want to make sure that you're able to persist through those 2+ years that you are at the institution, and cost is a huge factor within that. So you want to make sure that it's a financially sound decision that you're making with whatever institution you're attending. So I want to make sure that you can fund each semester that you're there. And a little later on in my presentation, I'll cover the different ways you can fund your college tuition, but you want to consider costs and know exactly what you're stepping into as you make that next step into college, and you know what financial responsibilities you will have making that next step. Geographic location, where's the college located? So do you want to be close to home? Do you want to be further away from home? For some people, this is super important. For me, I know when I was making my college decision, this was super important for me to consider when finding the correct college for me, because I'm very family oriented, and I wanted to make sure that I was going to a college where it was far enough away from home where I still felt some sense of independence, but also close enough where if I wanted to go home for a special holiday or if I need to get there for a family emergency, I could. So that's something you should consider when you are making your decision as well. Demographics, who's on the campus. I tell students you have to be there for 2+ years of your life, or dedicate your time 2+ years of your life to this post-secondary institution. So you want to make sure you feel included. You want to feel like a home away from home for you when you are in that space. So you want to see who's on campus. Are you able to connect with the individuals that are in that space for the time that you're there? Support services. This is one that's hugely neglected by a lot of students when they are transitioning over to post-secondary enrollment into whatever college they attend. Campus resources. All campuses have a different set of resources that they offer students, whether that be career services, tutoring, academic success coaches, financial aid, all of that. There's a ton of resources in place on campus for students to tap into, but so often we see that students are not educated on these resources prior to going to the institution. They neglect these resources once they get to their college. So be sure that the school that you're looking into has the support services that you're looking for. They are there to support you academically. They're there to support you in your next step beyond college, whether that be through the career services, through the tutoring services, if disability support. Those are all important things to consider depending on what supports you think you need as a student. Employment outcomes. So what are their graduates doing? Are their graduates getting employed after they leave the institution? Are they getting jobs in their areas of study? So that's all things you should look at because like I said, essentially you're there to get a good education. Then after you get that education, you want to get a good paying job. And then student life. So what does student life look like? And this does not just include athletics. This also includes clubs, organizations. Do they have any of those things you can take on outside the classroom? A big part of college is your academics, but also you have to have the social aspect as well. This is a nice way for you to start building your professional network because you never know if your vice president of the program you were in is going to be someone you reconnect with down the line at an organization you're interested in applying to. So this is a nice way to start building relationships on campus, a nice way for you to start networking with your peers, networking with faculty and staff, because sometimes there's advisors for these different clubs and organizations. So that can be someone who can write you letters of recommendation as you're making your next step beyond college. So you want to be sure that they even have what you are looking for in terms of student life, and you're able to kind of decompress outside the classroom as well, and not just all studies, because you have to have a healthy balance between social and academic, just for your own sanity. And lastly, I want to highlight reputation. So what's the school reputation with your academic programs, with if you're someone who is interested in like sports or athletics, what is a reputation for that if that's something you're heavily pursuing when you make that next step into college. So you want to make sure you understand what the school's reputation is in all of those different areas, and make sure that it's a good reputation, and they're being represented on a positive light versus something negative that you wouldn't necessarily want as you make that next step and progress. So now I'm going to get specifically into Schoolcraft and what we have to offer students. And I encourage you to just think about all of those things I talked about in my last slide as we move forward into learning about Schoolcraft specifically and how Schoolcraft may be an option when it comes to fitting into some of those different areas I told you to think about when you're making your choice on where you want to attend college. So first and foremost, we are an open enrollment institution. So what that essentially means is that we have no minimum GPA or test score requirement to be admitted into Schoolcraft. So although we do ask that you submit your transcripts and your test scores for placement purposes, it will not affect your admission to the institution in any way. This year, we have close to 14,000 credit students who are enrolled with us here at Schoolcraft. Part of this credit student number, it includes our guest students, who are students who are currently attending maybe a four-year institution like Michigan State, for example, but they want to take one or two classes here with us at Schoolcraft, because that's definitely an option. We have a ton of students who do it from semester to semester. We also have within that credit student number our dual enrollment students. So these are current high school students who are taking classes with us for college credit while they're still in high school. We also have students who are working on one of our 3 credentials. So whether that be an associate's degree or one of our certificate programs. And then lastly, we have like students who are on a transfer path. So they're still taking classes with us. They're still a full Schoolcraft student. However, their end goal is to eventually transfer and get a higher degree. So we do have those supports on campus. If you're someone who wants to start off at a community college, earn some general education credits, and then you can transfer those credits over to complete a higher degree if you desire to achieve above an associate's degree. Our average class size here is about 21 students. So very small, very interactive, especially for some of our more hands-on programs like nursing, for example, and then our professional trades like welding. Those are very hands-on. Our class size are able to remain small because we do offer a lot more online courses. Historically, Schoolcraft has always had this option. We actually have 4 course formats that I'll talk about a little bit later. And this is why we're able to keep our class sizes small. A lot of students have been more interested in getting back onto campus and being physically in a classroom, but we do offer other options for our students, and that's how we're able to also keep our class sizes within that 21 student number for class size. We do have over 130 academic programs that we do offer our students. These range from culinary arts to health sciences, to business. We have education programs. We have professional trade programs. So a wide variety. So more than likely we have something in your interest area. And like I said, if we do not have your particular program, we're here to support you with that transfer process as well, if you just want to start with us and get gen eds completed before transferring over. We, in 2021, 2022, we did award over $81 million in financial aid as a whole. So as you can see, we're very dedicated to getting our students funds as well and supporting them through that process of funding their education. So this $81 million included grants, loans, work study, and scholarships. Schoolcraft specifically has a ton of scholarship opportunities, which is free money that you don't have to pay back. The more scholarships you receive, the less you have to pay for your tuition at an institution. So I always encourage students to seek out as many scholarship opportunities as possible, because it's a nice way to cut down that cost of what you have to pay out of pocket or what you have to take out in student loans. And our financial aid office is amazing with assisting our students through that FAFSA process, finding scholarships and any other resources we can provide. They're very intentional about communicating the opportunities that are available throughout our own campus to the faculty so we can, and staff, so we can share out to our students. At Schoolcraft, we support over 170 international students as well. They represent over 40 countries on our campus. We have an entire international student office that supports them through the admissions process, all the way up until they enroll in their classes and even beyond, with connecting them to resources. Just a little fun fact, one of our student leaders was just able to reinstate our International Student Club, which is student ran. So it's awesome opportunities for those international students to connect and learn new things from one another, but also get connected to our staff and faculty on campus as well. Schoolcraft was voted #1 for return on investment. This essentially means that our students are getting their return for what they invested into their education and into their futures. They're essentially making the money to get the money back that they took out to go to Schoolcraft, essentially. If they had to do it with loans or whatever they pay for their tuition, they're making the funds they wish to make within their careers after they leave Schoolcraft. And this speaks highly to the connections that we have and we're able to make while the students are still here with us, and we're able to connect them to those opportunities while they're still in the classroom. Our faculty are always staying connected with our alumni. Our alumni are always reaching back out if they take on high positions within their companies, reaching back out because they know that our Schoolcraft students are prepared and equipped with the skills that they're looking for, especially in our professional trade-like programs. We always hear that the alumni are reaching back out to see if the faculty can share any student names of anyone who they can recommend to apply for certain positions, because they just know that these students are getting a quality education at Schoolcraft. I am so sorry about that. So moving from there, we do have 3 convenient locations for our students to take courses with us. I will say that majority of our programs are housed on our main campus. So a lot of the programs and a lot of the students are essentially on main campus, which is in Livonia. All of our campuses are in Livonia, actually, but our main campus is on Haggerty Road between 6 and 7 Mile in Livonia. But then we also have 2 additional campuses. So we have our public safety training complex, and then also our manufacturing engineering center. So for students who are taking criminal justice, homeland security, our police academy, our fire technology program, they may have some courses over at our public safety training complex. And then for our students who are in programs such as welding or plastics technology or mechatronics or manufacturing, they may have some classes over at our manufacturing engineering center. So that gives students some flexibility on where their classes can be held, and those 2 campuses in particular were created specifically for those majors, and they have specific equipment and also classroom settings that are tailored to those specific programs. For example, we have a training maze pad in the back of our public safety training complex. We have a gun range. We have a fire tower for our fire technology students over on that campus. In our manufacturing engineering center, we have welding labs. They have a robotics lab for our mechatronics program, and they have all of that industrial equipment right in that space for our students to actually have that hands-on experience and that very practical experience of what they'll be working with once they leave Schoolcraft. So here's a snapshot of our main campus. Just a couple things to highlight. We have our Vista Tech Center. This is where our culinary program and our brewery program are housed. It's actually under renovation at the moment because they're expanding it and making it even bigger and better for our students and our community members. We also have our Health Science Center. This is a newly renovated space. They expanded our Applied Science building and it became our Health Science Center. These are where all of our health science programs are housed. So if you're interested in medical imaging, nursing, pharmacy, those classes will be held over at our Health Science Center. We also have a Biomedical Technology Center. A wide variety of classes are held here, but some of our sciences are held there as well. That's right next door to our Health Science Center. And then we also have our Trinity Sports Center. This is where our movement science program is housed. We also have an indoor track and tennis courts for students to take advantage of. You don't have to be a part of a team to use those facilities. And then we have a delicious smoothie bar that all students can take advantage of if they're attending one of the sporting events there, or if they're just on campus and want a refreshing beverage. Here's a snapshot of our public safety training complex. Like I mentioned, we do have that situation training maze, we have firearms range, and we have a fire tower. And those are the programs that are housed here. And then lastly, here is our Manufacturing Engineering Center. And these are actual classroom spaces where the students are actually working with the equipment in those different areas. They also have one thing I want to highlight about our MEC Center. They have an awesome staff over there. Our staff is awesome everywhere, but these ladies are really dedicated to connecting our students to internship and apprenticeship opportunities. So if you're not familiar with apprenticeships, they're paid experiences where you can actually work while you're in school in your specific field. So they have a coordinator over there that is dedicated to getting those students those opportunities and connecting them to those opportunities in these specialized manufacturing areas. So high quality experience, high quality class experience, and students are able to get connected even before they leave the classroom. So I'll just go over this quickly because I already covered it a little bit before, but regardless if you're staying here at Schoolcraft with us for the entire 2 years, or you're planning to move on to get a higher degree, Schoolcraft is here to support you through each of those processes. And we have specialized staff on campus who are dedicated to supporting you through that process. So this here just shows you a step ladder of all the credentials that we offer. One nice thing about Schoolcraft programs is that they have overlapping, they overlap sometimes with the credentials that you can earn. So we have skill certificates, which can be completed in 1 and 2 semesters. We have certificate programs that can be completed with 2 to 3 semesters, excuse me. These are designed to get you right out to the workforce. So with those minimalized semesters, our students are able to go right out into the workforce with this credential underneath their belt. Then we move up to our associate's degrees. These are your 2-year programs that build in your general education credits into your program. So you'll have your core classes that are dedicated to your specific area, in addition to those gen ed classes that are built in. So some students will decide to stay with here for those 2 years and get an associate's degree in a specific area and get those gen eds completed within that. If they know their end goal is to eventually transfer to get a higher degree, they already have those gen eds covered, and then they also have some additional courses within their particular field. And let me rewind really quickly, you can stack these credentials. So if you decide to start at a skill certificate and then work your way up, you can, or you can just start at a certificate or an associate's degree. It's all up to the student, and you have a lot of different options when it comes to what credential you want to earn. We have a ton of students who just do a skill certificate. We have some who just start at the associate's degree. So it's just up to you. This here is the Michigan Transfer Agreement. This is an agreement between Schoolcraft and the four-year institutions where students are able to earn up to 30 credit hours to transfer over to the four-year institution. If a student decides that they want to pursue the Michigan Transfer Agreement, they'll get an endorsement on their transcript that says they completed it. And this will say that they will not have to repeat those lower level general education credits once they transfer over to the four-year institutions. That'll already be complete, so this saves the student time and money in the long run, because then they're just able to take their classes in their specific field. They won't have to repeat any of those gen ed credits or university requirements once they get over to the four-year institution. So we have about a 50-50 split of students who are working with a credential here with us and are staying here to complete a full program, or in those students who are deciding to work on the Michigan Transfer Agreement and want to transfer over and complete a higher degree, but are working on the Michigan Transfer Agreement to do so. So when they get over to the four-year, they'll have less time to complete their actual degree. As I mentioned before, we do offer a couple of different course formats. So first and foremost, we have our traditional courses. These are your face-to-face courses where you have a specific day and time. You have to meet in the classroom with your instructor. We have online courses. These are fully virtual, where you have no specific day and time, where you have to be in a physical classroom or a virtual classroom, but you'll have assignment due dates that are outlined in your syllabus at the beginning of the semester. We have remote courses, and the name of this was just switched over to synchronous remote. These are virtual sessions like what we're on right now, where you'll have specific day and time. You have to be on a virtual call with your instructor, and then you'll also have assignment due dates that are outlined in your syllabus. And then lastly, we have hybrid courses that are a mixture between remote, our synchronous remote, and then our in-person courses. These are more popular in our labs, our science labs, and then our art studios. So they'll have a combination of those two different formats in our hybrid courses. We also have academic advising. So this will be your go-to person on campus will be the expert in explaining what your program requirements are. They're there to support you if you are on a transfer path. We have specialized articulation agreements or partnerships with four-year institutions. If you are interested in possibly transferring and you want to learn more about those partnerships, this is the person you would reach out to and meet with to discuss those options. They are always also there to tell you about our selected admissions programs. So there are some programs, for example, our nursing program is it's a selective admissions program. So there's a secondary admissions process that you have to go through, and your academic advisor will be the person to fill you in on all the requirements you need to fulfill those requirements for that selective admissions program. Even if you're someone who's exploring your different options and you may be unsure of what exactly you want to go into and you want to do some career exploration, your academic advisor can also support you through that process of doing career exploration. They can help you develop your educational plan. They can discuss what your educational goals are with you and make sure that you're on track. For our first-time students, our first-year students, we do require that all of them meet with an academic advisor. And this is only to set them up for success as they begin their college career. We want to ensure that they're starting off on the right track and they're selecting the proper courses coming into the college setting. Because sometimes they just don't know. They're starting from scratch and they just need that support. So we want to ensure that our first year students are being supported within that course selection process and they don't feel that they're alone. So that's why we require them to meet with the academic advisor prior to registering for their first semester of courses. We have a ton of academic supports on campus as well. Going back to our support services in our little web in my first slide, This is one of the things that I always encourage students to seek out what academic supports are on campus and how the campus can support you academically. So first and foremost, we have our academic success coaches. These individuals are in our learning center, which is in our library. They're dedicated to helping students develop time management skills, study skills, and to hold them accountable and help them develop a plan of how they want to achieve their academic goals. So if a student is just struggling overall and struggling to adjust with how to study in college, how to manage all the that they're doing on the college campus, whether that be them being involved in a sport or a club, and then also balancing their classes, the academic success coach can sit down and meet with these students to discuss and develop a plan with them to attack their academics and make sure that they're being successful in their courses while balancing all that college has to offer them. We also have free tutoring and a writing support services component to our learning center as well. Our tutoring is offered 24/7 for all of our students. It's free of charge to our students. So we always encourage students to seek out tutoring resources. And then if you're someone who struggles writing essays, or you just want someone to read over it, or you want that support generating ideas for an essay for a class, you can go to our writing support within our learning center as well. Also in our learning center, we have workshops, we have mentorship programs, we have student leadership programs and professional development. They're always hosting some sort of workshop that's tailored to students' classes to give them that additional support. Every fall semester, they host a Jumpstart workshop specifically for math courses, because that's typically where a lot of students struggle transitioning from high school to college with math, college level math. So they have those workshops in place to get ahead and be proactive about helping the students be successful in those specific areas. And like I said, all of that is housed in our learning center. We also have disability support services. So if a student had an IEP or 504 in high school, this office is there to assist the students with setting up their accommodations for the college. So it will put the onus back on the student once you work with this office to communicate with their professor, what supports they need and what accommodations they've discussed with the Disability Support Services office. But this is an office you will go to get those accommodations started so that you can be successful with whatever accommodations you need for the classroom. We also have a career services office. So if you're someone who wants to work while you're going to school and have on-campus employment, if you are in search of positions or opportunities for employment as you approach graduation, once you're already at Schoolcraft, this is the office you'll go to. They also host job fairs and career expos. We just had our job fair for the spring semester just last week, which was a huge success, where they brought hundreds of employers to campus for our students to network with. They could bring their resumes, dress up, and get that experience with just networking with professionals and making those connections for potential jobs that they want to pursue after they graduate from the institution. If you're someone who has a resume and wants it updated, you can seek out our career services. If you are someone who doesn't have a resume and want to start building a resume and knowing what exactly to put on it and what the process is, if you're someone who has been out of the game for a little bit and you don't know what it's like to you've never experienced the job search process or the interview process, that's what career services is all about. They're there to support you each step of the way and help critique and mold you into a better professional and help you develop those skills if you've never tapped into that side. So they're great resources on campus. A lot of students seek out career services for various reasons because they do a lot and they're happy to support our students here on campus. So like I said in our little web earlier, it's important that you find a good balance between your social and your academics. And here at Schoolcraft, we have a ton to do when it comes to social, whether that be getting involved with the athletics department. We have both men and women's sports, or we have student-ran clubs and organizations. We have a student newspaper. We have a full-service fitness center, which they also have employment opportunities in our fitness center. So a lot of ways you can get involved. And I know not all of this is for everyone. Even if you don't want to take on an actual role within an organization, you're always able to attend the events on campus. So for example, our student activities office, they're always hosting some sort of event around campus that students can attend. They're giving out free items where students can come and relax in between classes. And you are always able to go and attend. Same for the sporting events, whether that be a soccer game or a basketball game or a tailgate that our athletic department is hosting. Students are able to take advantage of these different events that are tailored to students and geared towards students. You can start to interact with peers and meet new people on campus. Some of these events are free. Some they have a little fee, but most of them are free, especially with student activities, and they're always giving out free items also at these events. It's a nice way to get to know people and interact with people. Some of our staff and faculty also attend these events. It's a nice way to get out there and enjoy yourself and decompress from classes and all that you have going on while you're on campus. I will say for our fitness center also, if you are taking classes with us, as long as you're taking classes with us here at Schoolcraft, you have a free membership to our fitness center. So that saves our students a lot of money as well. So they won't have to get an outside membership at another gym because they have our fitness center right here on campus. Very convenient and always open to our students. And here's a snapshot of our fitness center. Like I said, all of our Schoolcraft students have a free membership to our fitness center. So let's get to the important part, paying for college. So here you can see a breakdown of tuition comparisons. So this is just an example of a student who is taking 15 credit hours per semester for 2 semesters. So at the college level, each class is worth a certain amount of credit hours, and this is how the tuition is calculated. So at the top, you can see we have our Schoolcraft students. For our resident students, these are students within the Clarenceville, Garden City, Plymouth, Canton, parts of Novi, Livonia school districts, and anyone outside of those school districts, those are non-resident students. So for our students who are in district, they're looking close to $5,000 for those 2 semesters for 15 credit hours. And by no means does every student take 15 credit hours per semester. This is just an example. It could be less, it could be a little bit more for depending on the student. And then for our non-resident students, you're looking close to $7,000 for tuition. And if you compare that to our state schools, you can see it's a huge cost savings when it comes to the amount that our students are paying for tuition. And reason being is because of our local tax dollars. We're able to provide our students with a much cheaper rate for tuition and fees versus some of your larger state schools. And one thing that I want you to consider also is that these numbers, for example, for University of Michigan Dearborn, you're at $14,320 for tuition alone. If a student decides to stay on campus at that institution, they will have to tack on an additional $10,000 plus for room and board. So that's something to consider. As you can see on the side here, on average, $21,000 in tuition is being saved by students who start off at Schoolcraft and then for their tuition alone, and then it's about a $20,000 difference for room and board. So students are saving on average about $40,000 for their college expenses by deciding to go to a 2-year first and then transferring over. to a 4-year. Like I said earlier, a lot of students take this route because it saves them time. And then as you can see, it saves them a lot of money on the front end because those gen ed classes you have to take no matter where you go. So why not complete them here with us, or even get some more credits underneath your belt that could potentially transfer over, so you won't have to repeat those if you decide to go to a 4-year. So there's a couple different ways you can pay for your college expenses. One being through the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. This is through federal government. And this is how you see what state aid you qualify for. So whether that be loans, state grants, and other federal funding. One big one this year that you just have to apply for the FAFSA for that we accept is the Michigan Achievement Grant and Scholarship. Students fill out their FAFSA. It is a first come, first served scholarship. So if a student qualifies for it, they will need to get their FAFSA in as soon as possible. And we do accept a Michigan Achieve Scholarship as well. Also scholarships. Perfect segue. Scholarships. Schoolcraft specifically have our own set of scholarships that we offer our students. We have some through our admissions office, some that are tailored to your grades, some that are tailored to you, how you're involved. We have some through our student activities office, our foundation. So we offer a ton of scholarships here at Schoolcraft specifically. And then also you can seek out external scholarships. So your parents' place of employment, credit unions offer scholarships, fast food restaurants sometimes offer scholarships. So there's scholarships for a ton of different things. And I always encourage students to take advantage of as many scholarship opportunities as possible, because so much money goes untouched yearly because students are too afraid to apply for those scholarship funds. So take advantage of as many scholarships as possible. As soon as our students are admitted to Schoolcraft, they have the opportunity to apply to Schoolcraft scholarships. We have a nice scholarship system where it's a matching process. So you will only match with scholarships you particularly qualify for. So it saves you a lot of time when it comes to searching for all those opportunities. I know it can be overwhelming sometimes looking through all the scholarship options, but our scholarship system is very user-friendly, and it matches our students to those that they only qualify for. You can also choose to be employed while you're in school. And a lot of students choose to do this, especially if they qualify for work study, which you will see if you qualify through your FAFSA application. And they choose to work while they're in school to fund their tuition or to pay for their books or other supplies that they need while they're going to school. So a lot of different options when it comes to how you can fund your college expenses. So as I said, our admissions office has some specific scholarships that we offer. So here are our senior scholarships for this year's class of 2023. So the highest one you can get from our office is our Award of Excellence, which is $3,000 for our fall and winter semester. So it's broken up into $1,500 per semester. If I can just remind you of our tuition, I'll go back a couple of slides here. If you fall within the non-resident, it's only $7,000. So if you get awarded at $3,000, you're cutting that down in half, essentially, almost in half, if you're awarded that Award of Excellence scholarship. And then this is just one scholarship you could qualify for. So you have the opportunity to apply for many, many other scholarships, and I encourage students to do so. We have our trustee scholarship, where you need a 3.0 for that one. We have our presidential scholarship where you need a 2.75, and then our Ocelot Opportunity Award, anyone below that 2.5, they're considered for this opportunity as well. And like I said before, you can go to our scholarship website, which is schoolcraft.edu/scholarships, to check out all of our scholarship opportunities that are available once you are an admitted student at Schoolcraft. I do want to highlight our Summer Bridge program. This is new to Schoolcraft this year, and it's an awesome opportunity for those who are considering coming to Schoolcraft in the fall. So this is a way for students who have not taken any college level math or college level English course to earn college credit to build skills for success. The students in this program will be taking our CAB 100 class. They'll be given free school supplies. They'll be given a free Chromebook for this program. And they'll be able to connect with a lot of different individuals on campus to connect them to campus resources. It's a nice way to get a jump start on your college career and to get familiar with how a college campus runs. And taking a college course is a nice way to ease into your first year of college. So if you are someone who is highly considering Schoolcraft, this is an amazing program. As you can see, it's only July 31st through August 11th. So not a very long time, and you will be earning college credit at the end of all of that. So it's an amazing experience. For more information, you can go to schoolcraft.edu/stepahead. This is called the Step Ahead Bridge Program through Schoolcraft. There will be opportunities also for those students who participate to qualify for scholarships for the fall semester. So this is in the summer, and then if you start in the fall, you'll have an opportunity to qualify for a fall scholarship for participating in the Step Ahead program as well. So becoming a student at Schoolcraft is fairly simple. It's a very streamlined process. Like I said in my initial slide, admissions requirements is a big part of it. And I talked about the cost of application fees. Schoolcraft does not have an application fee, and our application is free of charge for our students. It takes about 15 minutes to complete. We have no essay requirements as a part of our application. Once you complete your application, you'll receive your student ID number, and a next step checklist within 24 or 48 hours after you apply. From there, you will submit your high school transcripts and your test scores. Then you will complete new student orientation. This just gives you a rundown of Schoolcraft as a whole, and it gives you campus resource information and all the things you need to know to be a student. And then you'll meet with your academic advisor to understand your program requirements and to plan out your classes. And then from there, you're ready to register for your classes and pay for your classes. So a pretty streamlined process, and there's someone to help you each step in the process. Of course, our admissions office is always here. Even if you went beyond the admissions process, we're always here to be of support to students if they have questions as they work through enrolling in their classes. And now we'll open up for any questions if anyone has any questions.
Yes, Keandra. With regards to your bridge program, when is the deadline for students to apply for that?
So I don't believe they have a deadline right now. I have to check, double check. I don't believe they've released a deadline yet. They're still trying to gauge interest right now.
Okay.
They haven't released official deadline, but I will definitely reach back out to you and send you that deadline if we receive it.
Do you also have a flyer for that bridge program?
I do.
Yay. Good deal. Because
Yeah.
I would love to publish that amongst our students, because that is an excellent program that
Yes.
they should definitely get involved with.
Yes, it's an awesome opportunity, and I've been sharing as much as possible. I will for sure give you a flyer and get you that deadline. Yes, I don't remember it being a deadline on there, but I will double check and get that for you.
Okay, good deal. Well, do you guys have any questions? You can unmute and ask away, or you can type it in the chat and I'll be more than happy to read it. Okay. Well, if there aren't any questions or comments, then we will bring this session to a close. Thanks so much, Keandra, for sharing the information about Schoolcraft. You guys have an awesome program. You know, I'm a huge fan of you guys. And thank you guys for joining, and everybody have a great rest of your day and a great weekend.
Thank you for having me.
All righty.